Hi, I'm Moze Jacobs. I'm speaking to you from Bali the Hope, near Skibbereen in West Cork, Ireland. Thank you to the Speakeasy for having me. We were going to do live things in March, and it would have been lovely, but of course the coronavirus struck, and now we're all learning how to do things online and trying to reproduce the energy that is there when you do something live and you can bounce off people in the audience who can bounce off you. This is different, but it's interesting to do. I'm slowly getting a bit of a grip on the technology, which is the hardest part actually. And thinking that I'm speaking to real people. I'm originally from Holland, as you can hear from the accent, which I can't lose at the moment. I don't know what to replace it with. I've been here 23 years and I love Ireland. I feel at home here, and although I go back a lot normally, I have no ambition to ever leave this country for good. So I'm going to read something to you that is in a folder called The Sea and Ships. The folder looks a bit tatty because it's really old. I wrote this apparently when I was 10 years old and in school in England, where my mother had taken me because she studied dance. I have no recollection of ever writing this, but she gave it to me much later. And then, yeah, looks like I wrote it, and I like it because it has a certain flow. I also think that kids can do really nice writing if you let them and if you don't put pressure on them to perform, and if you do not criticize them too much, because that's always our problem. We take that critical voice with us into adulthood, and part of writing is that you have to sort of silence the editor who wants to continuously change what you've written. I even have it now when I read it again and again. To get it right, I want to change it, but I'll just leave it as it was, more or less. Escape over the lake. Our house was at the edge of the lake. Every night my father came home with fish. Sometimes my brothers would go with him. Another time they would go hunting and they would bring home a wild ox, a wolf, and once a mammoth, caught while already dying. But I, however much I prayed and asked, my father would not allow me to come and hunt. Yes, I was allowed to fish, but that was all. Once, while I and my father were fishing on our rafts, logs bound together, we heard a rumbling noise on the mainland. When we looked around, we saw the mountain, which always had stood so quiet and shadowy on the shore of the lake, as a fire giant. I, in a great fright, rode as fast as I could away from the hot lava. But my father, although he knew it was no use, went to save my mother and brothers, who were in the cave in the mountain. He and the whole family were buried under the lava, but I, thanks to my raft, made my escape to the other shore, where I started my new life. I did lie a little bit. I changed the first two words. Instead of home, I said house, because there's a lot of home in there. And when I lied, I stumbled. So, and there's a lot of things in there that are fantasy. I don't have any brothers. I don't think my father would have saved the rest of the family. So maybe it was a dream or imagination, or what I really like to think is that it was a previous life during the Ice Age and I was a little boy. Okay, but that is fantasy, maybe. I like fantasy and science fiction. If the Speakeasy had gone ahead, I would have presented this book, which we published last year, my colleague Hanneke van der Hoeven and myself. Hanneke did the beautiful drawings and I did the text. We're probably going to present it one day. Hanneke lives in Berlin, so she might not be there. But for the moment, we are creating a Facebook page called Riya Solano. The book is about a female astronaut who lives in the 24th century, well known from Star Trek. She is also a scientific telepath, which allows her to communicate with the inhabitants of Titan, Saturn's largest moon. The book is about her voyage to Titan. And if you want to know what happened, you have to read it. Okay. There are some texts that I wrote when I was an adult that I do not remember. And I don't think it had anything to do with drink or drugs, but we do have different sides to our personalities. And if we really pay close attention to ourselves, which is what we need to do during this pandemic, we could see that we change our personalities throughout the day, living from mood to mood, maybe getting angry or sad or upset, maybe missing other people, because a lot of our identities are bound up with other people and it's harder to be by yourself. Although very interesting. One poem that I wrote without any recollection is called Sleeping. Sleeping. I do not suffer from verified disorders with exotic names, but I can distinguish various personalities inside my head where I address myself as I. Get up, I tell myself, but I continue to slouch. Set to work, I shout furiously, but my eyes stay glued to the fatuous book and I read on. At night, I argue in front of the flat screen. I want to go out, but part of me to sleep, and the rest is eagerly watching anything that moves, however nonsensical. In the shower. Turn off the taps. In the shower. Turn off those taps. She doesn't do what I want her to, but then suddenly someone turns off the tap. Likewise, I can imagine that inside me are slumbering a murderer, an adulteress, a bargain seller, prostitute, a betrayer of people, and head nurse, someone I do not know, but who can wake up at any moment as circumstances change. I'm glad that I write poetry because it helps me to sort out parts of myself that I'm not happy with or that I do not understand. So I write something throughout my life when I really feel stuck or do not know what's going on. This one is called Future X. I want to be intimate with someone who fears intimacy. It is my most persistent endeavor, the most painful and exquisitely beautiful. Rolling a boulder up a mountain, always the fear it will reverse and crush deeply buried hope. Oh, it will do just that, a form of resolution. I long for him who always escapes as I reach out, stretched to the limit. I am not the fabulous Rumi. He is real, tantalizingly close, reassuringly far. Nothing I want can stand the test of time, and yet I repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat, going in circles. So much wonder in circles, spirals, fractals. Maybe we can meet in the center that doesn't exist, that cannot hold, that always is. Apart from love, death seems to be a recurring theme in what I write. I don't set out to do so, but what moves me, makes me write. And this is written for my Aunt Hannah. Maybe exactly at the moment when she died, I like to imagine that I was in Ireland and she was in Holland, and she was alone. Maybe not literally so. Maybe there were nurses around her, but she was trapped in dementia. And I think that creates a lot of loneliness. It's called The Send-Off. It is a momentous occasion to shed one's skin, not knowing if you'll ever grow another. Perhaps the gap is smaller if you slip quietly from semi-oblivion, having unlearned most of life's lessons. To talk, to walk, to think, to perceive, to remember, and now even to eat and drink. A fade out, not the abrupt, devastating appearance of those final words, followed by rolling credits and outstanding debts. But whatever the quality of the send-off, I hope it will be bright outside as you leave the cinema. Writing this was like a kind of solace. It happened many years ago. It was nothing to do with the pandemic. But I think words and feelings can connect us to those who leave the earth. My last poem is also a little bit science fiction, but I call it science faction. Are we alone in the universe? I think not. I hope not. I know not. There is no proof, but the sound of wings just out of earshot. The battle in the sky reverberates daily, still hurting my eyes. The flashing of lights during lucid nights, magnetic blue and white, 10 times the sun. Red and yellow fire right across time. A loving embrace reaching through space. It's weaving a grid, pure waves of energy, us within it, bound and free. That's my evidence, nothing you can see. Scary, isn't it? Just feel it with me. Thank you, good night, and maybe see you at the Speakeasy. Be well, be safe, be happy.